going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. This is a sub-requested deck profile featured on one of our testing games. It was the Tricolor Vegeta testing game against this Red-Green Piccolo Jr. deck. I'll put the link for that down in the description below if you want to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, this is a really cool deck that I came up with for a few reasons. I think the Piccolo Jr. leader is really strong. I think it's like a consistently good leader, and I'll explain what I mean by that when I get into what it does. And then, we just had the Veggie engine, one of the strongest engines in the history of the game. I did a video on why people aren't really playing the Veggie engine in set 4. I did that about a month ago, so if you guys want to check that out, I'll put the link for that in the description down below as well, so you can check that out, why I think people aren't really playing Veggies right now. But yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to get into this deck profile. We pitted this against the Tricolor Vegeta deck, which has a very strong matchup against two of the best decks in the format, being Trunks and Hirudegarn. So yeah, it was a really strong deck, and I wanted to see how this deck paired up against it because I had the idea for the concept because of a few things, and it ended up winning the game. We played a couple games here and there, and this game has definitely the higher win percentage, so it's really cool. The Veggies are super duper strong. So yeah, we'll just get into what the leader does and what the deck is. So we're playing the new Piccolo Jr. leader out of the structure deck, the new green Namekian structure deck. So when this card attacks, leader card, draw one card, your standard effect. Kind of hard for your opponent to deny you cards when you can get a new card every single turn. Awaken at 4 life, flip over, untap 2 energy. So good for extending your plays. A lot of these untap 2 leaders right now, like they don't want to flip until like they're ready to make a big push. This deck doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter per se. It's actually pretty beneficial sometimes to flip on your opponent's turn, so you have like negates and defense up. So this isn't really a deck where you care about your front or your backside, and your backside's better for spot removing things. So we'll go to what the backside does. So Piccolo Jr. Evil Reborn. This is one of my favorite card arts on a leader. It's so amazing. It's so cool looking, and it's Piccolo, one of my favorite characters. So we'll see what he does. When this card attacks, period, draw one card. Activate main once per turn. Pay 1 green energy. You can blow up anything on the field of a 5-drop or less. So one singular thing, one singular battle card, 5-drop or less, you can blow it up if it doesn't have barrier, and then you can. Well, then your leader gains 5k after that. So he just gets really big. So it's really cool. You can like pop something, swing at something else at 20k. You don't even have to combo. Or if you just pop something, swing at leader, it's just more pressure for them. They have to combo out of if they're low on life. So it's really solid. Just a really solid effect. Like I feel like that's why I feel like this leader and like the new Black Broly leader just are like consistent in my opinion, because the backside just has a very good utility effect of just popping something that is giving you a problem. That's why I consider them to be consistent leaders, that they can do kind of just really good toolboxy things, That's why I really like this leader, and I kind of like the Broly leader as well. You'll notice the count in the deck. We have 30 green, 2 black, and 18 red. 30 green is pretty important. It might be a little much, but it's really important because all your plays in this deck start with green. So you want to be able to open your green pieces and start with green energy in order to go into your plays. So we'll go to the deck list. We got 2 Burst Energy Super Saiyan Bardock. So as you saw with that leader, and if you're familiar with the Veggie engine, one of the strongest engines in the history of the game, you know that it's chock full of spot removal. The reason I'm opting for 2 Burst Energy Super Saiyan Bardock is because it's a Jiren, basically, a red 4-drop Jiren from set 2. It can punch active battle cards and gains a 10k pump. So I decided to go with this for things like apes with barrier. I don't know, just big things that were like giving me problems with barrier that I couldn't necessarily just spot remove. So that's kind of why I went with this guy. The deck's full of spot removal. I wanted something that could pressure things with barrier pretty well. So that's why I went with that guy. There probably are better overall options in the deck if you're looking to take this to a bigger event, but this guy's been working well for me, so I think I'm going to keep him in there for a while until, things with barrier become a little less popular. All right, so then we have the green package. 4 Trunks Bridge to the Future. This is a good turn 1 play. The best turn 1 play in the deck, realistically. You just charge a green, summon it, and then you look at the top 2 cards. What you should realistically do is look at the top card. If it's something you want, just take it. Don't even look at the second card, because you don't really want to mill something. You don't want to mill, especially a Caulifla. So you flip it up. If it's a Kaba, great, take it to your hand. If it's something you can get rid of, especially if it's not a Saiyan, like an extra card or something like that, look at the second card and take it. But most oftentimes, if the first card's something you want, just take it. Don't even look for the second card because you have the option not to. Newfound Power Son Gohan. This is not like a turn 1 play in this deck. Realistically, more of the time you're just going to use this to put yourself from 5 to 4, so that you can, you know, awaken and make a bigger push on your opponent during your turn. And it's also a 15k crit, so it's just a really good card in general. Great green and good energy late game. Then we have a 3-3 split on Sacrifice and Full Power Energy. So I really like Sacrifice in this deck. Like, if you look back on my Slug deck profile, I think it's a really cool negate that Namekians can play, because, you know, if you're at 2 life and your opponent's swinging at you with a double strike, you just negate the attack, and then you're safe from that. You're at 1 life, but if their turn's over, you go back to your turn, and hopefully, you know, you put the pressure back on them. And they were playing a lot of green in the deck, so Full Power Energy is just completely necessary. I made another video on why Full Power Energy is better in the late game than in the beginning parts of the game against 1-drop decks, so definitely check that out if you haven't seen that yet. But yeah, 6 negates in the deck seems good. This isn't necessarily one of those, you know, turn 2, turn 3 kill decks, so you do want to have a decent amount of negates for the late game. Then we have the beginning of our Veggie Engine, the Unstoppable Ambition Super Saiyan Caulifla. This is the OG Caulifla, the green one that when it comes into play, you take a life. This is not the one I want to hit most of the time for a couple of reasons. I don't really care about awakening this deck too much, so I'd rather hit the red Caulifla to get more battle cards on the board. And also, 4-drop Kale really often doesn't get dropped, but I'll go into that when I get to her. So this is one of the Cauliflas you can hit off your Sand Kaba. Then we have Sand Teamwork Kaba, the card that makes the entire deck run the way it does. So cost 2 green, 2-drop, you play it. You're able to look at the top 10 cards of your deck for a Kale or a Caulifla. If it is a Caulifla, you can choose to play it, and then whatever Caulifla you play, you get its effects. So really, really strong engine starter there. You know, for 2 energy, you can get up to 3 battle cards on the board, so it's pretty insane. And its other effect is it can reduce the cost of Kales and Caulifla by 1. And if they're green Kales and Cauliflas, you can reduce the specified cost. So if you had like 2 Kabas on the board, this Caulifla over here could be free, but you can never reduce the specified cost of a red battle card. So those guys will always cost at least whatever their specified red cost is. Then we have Namekian Duo SNL. It's our super combo for the deck. We're playing a Namekian leader, so we're playing the super combo. It's active at 5 life. Really, really strong, really nice for when your opponent wants to put you from like 5 to 3, because that's always an awkward situation to be in, and you can play defense on that part. So really, really nice there. Then we have Hidden Awakening Kale. Honestly, this does not get dropped a whole lot unless I have like multiple Kabas on the board to make this a cheap threat. You don't really want to tap out on your turns very often. So this card really doesn't get dropped too much, but it is a great card to bring you back from a low hand deficit. Critical 20k, mass sands the board, pops anything up to 5-drop or less total of different battle cards. So really, really strong. Now the red package, we have 3 Sand Kaba. This is not a card in this deck you're going to use for self-awakening. Like, you definitely can if the situation arises itself, but this is more like a late game finisher. So this is a card I use a lot to win games because it's realistically the only double strike in the deck. So when your opponent's at that 2 life and you're whittling them down on resources with your veggies, because that's what this deck does. You just gain crazy advantage off your veggies, and then you whittle your opponent's resources by making them have to combo to save their life. So then you drop Sand Kaba for game. That's realistically the best utility of the card. Then we have 4 Dauntless Kale. This is a free blocker if you have a Caulifla on the board, so you go Kaba into any of the Cauliflas, and then if you have this in hand, you can summon it for free. Really, really good card, especially in this format with all the aggro floating around. If you watch the Vegeta versus Piccolo Jr. match, the Dauntless Kale put in a ton of work. It just, every single time I play my friend Larry against a Vegeta deck, these free blockers are like the bane of his existence. So super, super good cards. Then we have Sister Attack Kale. The best Kale in the deck by far. Just when you have another Universe 6 on the board, attack, gain a 5k pump, and draw a card. Just get you more cards. Everything in this deck that gets you cards is good. So best Kale in the deck. Then we have 3 Impeccable Super Saiyan Kaba. This is, again, kind of like the Burst Energy Super Saiyan Bardock. This is for getting around things with barrier, things that you need to kill like earlier on turns, because you can't really drop your spot removal guys to like turn 3-4. So you can't like really flip your leader till that late, or like drop your Kales. So this is for killing things like littler earlier in the game, because you can go Kaba into this Caulifla and grab this Kaba. So yeah, it might seem a little redundant playing the Kaba and the Burst Energy Super Saiyan Bardock, but like I said, this is for like much bigger things than Kaba. This is for like monkeys and things like that. So Kaba's for literally things you need to get off the board, like if they have like something they're going to evolve into, anything like that. So then for the last 4 cards in the deck, we have the Bold Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, the second best card in the deck in my opinion. So every single time I drop Kaba, I want to go into this red Caulifla as many times as I can, just because you want to go into this Caulifla. You can get your free blocker if you need it. You can get your sister attack Kale to get you more cards, or you can get your Kaba if you have a little problematic thing your opponent has that you need to get rid of. So super duper strong effect there. Yeah, guys, so we have this red-green Piccolo Jr. deck. That's the deck profile. I think this deck is super duper strong. I think it's really, really good. It's decently positioned in the format as well. I think like this deck can definitely do some things. You can very much easily win a locals with it. I've done that a couple times so far. As far as like upper events go, I don't know. Maybe if someone took this deck and tweaked it, they can maybe do something at a regional with it. Like veggies are that strong. Veggies are so strong, and I still agree with what I said in the video about why people aren't playing veggies. But at the same time, like when you can tap out and still have access to a negate like sacrifice, where you can stop your opponent's plays, you can make it to that next turn and still be able to do things. So yeah, guys, that's my opinion on the deck profile. Let me know what you think about this deck. I've been having a whole lot of fun with it. So please let me know what you think about the deck. Yeah, and with that being said, this is Joey from Crossroad TCG. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.